episode 522 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I will be talking all about Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory pay-per-view, where Mike Tenay, Don West, and Tracy Brooks joined the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, where many titles were on the line. Title changes, Monsters Ball, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal, and the Impact World Championship on the line in the main event. And fans, it is official. January 2024, TNA Wrestling Total Non-Stop Action is back. Also, talking about tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision and AEW Battle of the Belts 8, with more titles on the line. 6 hours of pro wrestling action right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I am Lance Brock. Unfortunately, not live like I normally am on pay-per-view nights. I apologize for not being live, but I am here now to talk all about the Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory pay-per-view, also AEW Saturday Collision, and AEW Battle of the Belts 8, which took place, had 6 hours of pro wrestling to watch. Almost 6 hours, because on the Sling DVR, yes, I was able to skip the commercials, but it was close to 6 hours. And gonna talk all about Bound for Glory and Collision and Battle of the Belts right here on this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hope everyone had a great Saturday. I'll talk more about this a little later on the podcast when I finish the recaps, but gotta mention this first. It was mentioned at the end of Bound for Glory tonight, January 13th, 2024. No more Impact Wrestling. TNA Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling will be back. And I know Impact Wrestling, they were teasing a big surprise all weekend. And I wasn't expecting CM Punk or anything like that, but I definitely was not expecting that they were going back to TNA. And like I said, I will talk more about that huge announcement a little later on. Now on to Bound for Glory. And things got kicked off tonight at 7:30 with the countdown to Bound for Glory. A little different. Normally on the pay-per-view countdowns, we get maybe a couple matches and video packages focusing on the matches on the pay-per-view. But for Bound for Glory tonight, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony took up the whole half hour, which I thought was fine. It was a great ceremony. First, we have, like they said, the original knockout Tracy Brooks being inducted by Gail Kim, who gave a very good speech. They started in the business together. Her husband, Frankie Kazarian, and their son, Rebel, were there as well. Also, the next induction, which was very emotional, the longtime TNA / Impact Wrestling announce team of the Professor, Mike Tenay, and Don West, which we got a very good video package on Tenay and West going into the Hall of Fame. And Mike Tenay was on hand to receive for both of them, since unfortunately Don West has passed away. And this is actually the first thing in pro wrestling that Mike Tenay has done in a lot of years. Since he left Impact, he has kind of stepped away from the business, and he gave a very good speech. Really talked good about Don West. Also talked good about Bobby the Brain Heenan, Steve Mongo McMichael, and Scott D'Amore, of course, who was the one who inducted Mike Tenay and Don West into the Hall of Fame. Very good speech by Mike Tenay. And just one thing I was kind of surprised about last night, that I thought since he was there for the Hall of Fame, maybe they would have tried and asked him to join Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywalt and call one of the matches. Maybe the main event, Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander. That would have been a very good match to have Mike Tenay join them and add his commentary on. I'm not saying the whole show, but I thought they might have tried to, unless he didn't want to do it, but I thought they might have maybe asked him if he would have wanted to call maybe at least one match last night. but that did not happen. And then, so that was the countdown to Bound for Glory from last night. And now on to the main card, Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2023, the 19th annual Bound for Glory, live on pay-per-view from Chicago, Illinois at Cicero Stadium. A sold-out Cicero Stadium, and our commentators tonight, Tom Hannafin and the Drama King, Matthew Raywalt. And actually, I guess this ended up being a dark match last night, which the Hall of Fame was the countdown show. The Knockouts Tag Team Championships were on the line. MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich defeated the team of Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz, which I kind of feel bad for the 4 knockouts involved in that match for kind of being bumped from the actual pay-per-view. And our first match on the pay-per-view, the Impact Wrestling X Division Championship on the line. One half of the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, defending against Kenta. And this opening match was awesome for the X Division Championship. Just like I thought it would be. I even predicted on Good Morning Wrestling Fans that this could definitely have potential of stealing the show, and it definitely did. This was a great match. A lot of great action in this one, and it definitely looked like there were times in the match where we could see Kenta becoming the new X Division champion, but in the end it was Chris Sabin retaining with the clothesline from Hell, Michigan, and the Cradle Shock to pin and get the win on Kenta. 11 minutes, 28 seconds. This opening match for Bound for Glory, I'm going to give 4 out of 5 ring bells. Like I said, I thought this was a great opening match to kick off the pay-per-view. And I'd say definitely a candidate for match of the night. And next up is the Monsters Ball. We have PCO, Perfect Creation 1, the War Machine Rhino, Steve Macklin, and Moose. We see footage of all 4 competitors locked in the dark rooms with no light, no food, no water for 24 hours as they exit and they go out for the match, which was, this one was expected. A lot of weapons, a lot of brutality. We even seen cinder blocks with thumbtacks and ladders, tables, of course. And PCO gets the win in this one at 11 minutes, 9 seconds. Good match. I don't know if I would say this was the best Monsters Ball in TNA / Impact Wrestling history, but I would say this one was a very good one. I'll give it 3.5 out of 5 ring bells. Good match. Of course, a lot of brutal, hardcore action, and won by PCO. Next up, the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championships are on the line. The Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, defending against the Bullet Club team, ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay. And this one was a fantastic tag team wrestling match. I thought both teams here put it all on the line, had a great match. The Rascals defending, they were great in this match, and ABC, Austin, and Bay were just awesome. And ABC get the win, 9 minutes, 49 seconds, defeating the Rascals to once again become the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. Good to see them become 2-time World Tag Team Champions and have the titles once again. I would say that ABC are probably not just probably one of the best tag teams in Impact Wrestling today, but probably all of pro wrestling today. And that's just my opinion. And next up, we have the dream match that we saw take place on Bound for Glory. Will Ospreay taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. And this was another match I talked about on Good Morning Wrestling Fans. I said this could definitely have potential of stealing the show, of maybe being match of the night, worth the price of the pay-per-view alone. And let me just say that this match definitely did not disappoint. This match was just as awesome as I thought it would be. Ospreay and Bailey. All I gotta say is, if for some reason you did not see Bound for Glory and you can only watch one match for some reason, make it this one, definitely gotta check out this match. I mean, you should watch the whole event, but you definitely have to watch this match. Definitely a candidate for match of the night. It is won by Will Ospreay at 17 minutes 58 seconds. Wow. And like I say about my ranking system, it's just my opinion. Doesn't really mean that much, just how much I like the match. And this one, I love this match, and I'm actually going to give it 5 out of 5 ring bells. And like I said, that's definitely not a professional rating or anything. A lot of people might disagree with me, but going with 5 out of 5 ring bells, once again, definitely a candidate for match of the night. And next up, we have the 20-person Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal, where the winner receives a title shot at any time they want. And in this one, we start off with Jake Something and Eddie Edwards. We have Kenny King, Juventud Guerrera, Johnny Swinger, Giselle Shaw, Jody Threat, Kylene King, Sunny Kiss, who was recently in AEW, who recently was released not too long ago, Bully Ray, Matt Cardona, returning to Impact Wrestling, Jordan Grace, Eric Young, Joe Hendry, Brian Myers, Heath, Frankie Kazarian, whose wife Tracy Brooks went into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame earlier tonight, Rich Swann, Jonathan Gresham, Dirty Dango, and in the end, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal was won by Jordan Grace, who can have a shot at any championship in the promotion at any time she wants to cash in that title shot. This one went 28 minutes, 58 seconds. Pretty good match. I'll give it 3 out of 5 ring bells. It was pretty entertaining. Was surprised, and I guess you could say happy to see Jordan Grace win this one. And the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship is on the line. Trinity defending against Hardcore Country Mickie James. Mickie James making her return to Impact Wrestling, who never actually lost the Knockouts Championship, and now held by Trinity. This one, great match. They talked about, leading up to this one, about how they are friends. The first one-on-one singles match between the two. And really good one here. And it is Trinity successfully defending against Mickie James at 11 minutes 59 seconds, retaining the Knockouts Championship. Once again, really good match. I will give this one 3 out of 5 ring bells. Definitely enjoyed it. And the main event of Bound for Glory 2023, the Impact World Championship on the line. The other half of the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, the Impact World Champion, defending against the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander. I was looking forward to this match, and it definitely did not disappoint. And just as I thought, Shelley and Alexander had a great main event for the Impact World Championship here. And in the end, it is Alex Shelley retaining the World Championship. on the biggest Impact Wrestling show of the year at 22 minutes, 32 seconds. And then when Bound for Glory is about to go off the air, we are informed by Tom Hannafin that we have an announcement regarding Hard to Kill on pay-per-view January 13th, 2024. We cut to this video in kind of like a jungle or a forest where we see many Impact Wrestling stars. And we see Frankie Kazarian go down to a bottom of a lake or something and pull out a treasure chest. And they pretty much say they're going back. And like I mentioned at the top of the podcast, that January 13th, 2024, Impact Wrestling will be no more. Once again, it will be TNA, Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling. And believe me, this was definitely not the surprise I was expecting to hear about at Bound for Glory. And like I said, I was definitely surprised to hear about the return of TNA. And in 2023, could you have ever expected that we would see the return of TNA wrestling? One question that I have right off the bat is, TNA coming back, will they stay with the four-sided ring, or will they actually make the return to the six-sided ring? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. So, on pay-per-view, January 13th, 2024, TNA Wrestling presents Hard to Kill live on pay-per-view from Vegas, I believe, which is going to be at a different venue at the Palms, I believe. Most recently, Impact Wrestling was running Sam's Town Live. Maybe this is a bigger venue. And that was the huge announcement we had last night. The return of TNA Wrestling. And in just a little bit, Sunday morning, on Good Morning Wrestling Fans, I will probably talk about that more. But now, let's go on over to TNT and talk about AEW Saturday Collision, which was live on TNT. Which was from Memphis, Tennessee, at the FedEx Forum. And first we have the AEW. Sorry. I got lost here on my notes. And, Collision. And we have our first match. Our commentators tonight, though, we have Tony Schiavone, Kevin Kelly, and Nigel McGuinness. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, taking on Andrade El Idolo in a great opening match here on Collision tonight. Danielson getting the win. And next up, Sky Blue with this more darker side. Now, defeating Hollywood Haley. Pretty good match. Good win by Sky Blue. The Guns representing Bullet Club Gold. Austin and Colton Gunn in tag team action defeating the Outrunners. Jeff Jarrett versus Eddie Kingston in a Memphis street fight where if Jarrett wins, Jay Lethal will get a shot at the Ring of Honor World Championship. And no disqualifications in this one. Anything goes. A lot of interference from Jay Lethal, Sonam Singh, Karen Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, and Jeff Jarrett did defeat Eddie Kingston to get Jay Lethal the title shot. Also, Memphis wrestling legend Dave Brown joined the commentary team for this match, just like before when AEW was in Memphis. He did actually join the commentary team for a match when they were there before too. Always good to see Dave Brown. Grew up watching him actually when I was a kid on USWA here when we got it on WADL 38 here in Michigan. And Miro defeated Action Andretti. Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill retained the AEW World Tag Team Championships over the Blackpool Combat Club team of Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Really good main event on Collision. And next up is AEW Battle of the Belts 8 right after. And we start things off on Battle of the Belts with a match for the AEW International Championship. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy defeated John Silver of the Dark Order. 9 minutes here. Really good match, I thought. It looked like there were times where John Silver was going to defeat OC for the International Championship. And actually, just like his first run with the title, they picked up where they left off pretty much, where it looked like with each title defense, Orange Cassidy actually got a little weaker with the injuries and each match taking its toll on him. But he did retain against John Silver, still AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy. Also, the Ring of Honor World Television Championship was on the line. Samoa Joe making quick work of Tony Nese at 1 minute 40 seconds. And the AEW TBS Championship was on the line as well. Chris Statlander taking on Willow Nightingale. Good match here. Statlander retains, defeating Willow Nightingale 10 minutes. Really good match. And like I said, Statlander retaining. Then after the match, Sky Blue, who we have seen involved, take this darker, deeper character since being misted by Julia Hart. And Statlander offered the handshake to Nightingale. Sky Blue told her to turn it down, just like she did the week before. But Willow Nightingale shaking the hand of Chris Statlander and then leaving. Sky Blue looked very disappointed that Willow shook the hand of Chris Statlander before leaving. So still AEW TBS champion Chris Statlander. Then in the main event of Battle of the Belts 8, we have the AEW Trios Championships on the line. The Acclaimed, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn taking on, I'm not sure what to call him right now, the former Jericho Appreciation Society, Daddy Magic Matt Menard, Cool Hand Ange, Angelo Parker, and Daniel Garcia in a trios match. The Acclaimed retain at 10 minutes in the main event of Battle of the Belts 8, which I thought maybe actually one of the better Battle of the Belt specials they've had. And Collision tonight, very good episode. And tonight's Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory, great pay-per-view. That definitely the highlight of the night. And I know actually it's not tonight, it's more early Sunday morning now. Sorry, I apologize that I wasn't able to go live like I normally do on pay-per-view nights. But better late than never. Had almost 6 hours of pro wrestling on Saturday night. And once again, Bound for Glory, like I said about my rating system, it's just my opinion, doesn't really mean much. And overall, as a pay-per-view, I'll have to give Bound for Glory 10 out of 10 ring bells. And a lot of people might disagree with me about that one, but that's my score. I thought it was great. Great pro wrestling from top to bottom on this card. And of course, we had the huge announcement of TNA making its return in January 2024. And that is this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Once again, sorry that I couldn't do this live like I normally do. And we'll be returning in maybe about 5-6 hours for the Sunday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, where I will probably talk more about the announcement of TNA Wrestling returning. And we'll be back then. So hope you will all join me then too. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, or you can leave your feedback for Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory, AEW Collision, AEW Battle of the Belts in the comment section. either right here on Spreaker, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to the podcast at. Let me know in the comment section. Also, hope everyone enjoyed this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hope you all enjoyed all the great pro wrestling that we had on Saturday night. And until next time, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.